install Laravel Homestead on a Windows PC. Now, you may be familiar with other tutorials that may be strictly for Mac or Linux, but I'm going to make this one here just for Windows because there's been a lot of issues I've been noticing in forums with people not understanding how to go ahead and install Homestead correctly, or Homestead 2.0 that is, because there's been some changes in the installation process. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and give you a step-by-step tutorial on how to go ahead and install Laravel Homestead on your Windows PC. Now, there are going to be a couple prerequisites to this tutorial, and you will have to be running on a Windows machine. That's probably number one. Number two, you're going to have Virtualbox and Vagrant both on your machine. Now, right now, I'm going to go ahead and go over how to install them, and we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So now you can see that I'm in my downloads, and you can see I have Virtualbox and Vagrant both in my downloads. So the first part here, you want to go ahead and install Virtualbox first and then Vagrant second. So let's go ahead and install this, and read the fine print if you must need to. Please do. So Virtualbox is installing right now, and you may get this. It's going to just install another network driver so you can have virtualized network ports so it can share it with the virtual machine. Now, this is totally normal for this kind of installation, and some computers can have some instability with your internet card driver, and in that case you may have to reinstall your network card driver, which I had to do a couple times in previous installations. So now that Virtualbox is installed, I'm going to go ahead and install Vagrant because Vagrant runs alongside Virtualbox, and I'm going to go ahead and press run. Now, Virtualbox and Vagrant, basically, you don't have to have Virtualbox open to run Vagrant. It's very, very nice. So the only thing that you will need to have after this is Git, which is available at gitscm.com or org. I forget which one. So just go ahead and download that. So Vagrant is installing, and please note when I do get into actual nitty-gritty details, I will slow down. I'm just trying to get through this stuff pretty quick. Trying to think what else I want to say. We're going to need a version of PHP too, because on a default Windows machine, you do not have a PHP application or program at all. It's not really an application or program. It's just kind of like a little script, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to Google, and if I can type today. When I get there, I'm going to go ahead and type in PHP Windows. And what we're going to do is just go to windows.php.net. So this is the URL you want to essentially get to. And we're going to go ahead and download the latest version. And what thread and non-thread is if you want to use it alongside Apache. And in this case, I really don't need to do that because this is just for this case. So I'm going to go ahead and do non-thread. So I'm going to go ahead and get this zip. And it's going to go ahead and download to my computer. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes here and check on the Vagrant installation, and this will take a couple minutes depending on your computer. I have a little bit of an older computer, but it still runs perfectly fine. So I can attribute to the slower install speeds, and also if you have an SSD, this will still be blazing fast. I'm not going to go ahead and restart my computer now. I'll do that later. Okay, so now we're just waiting for PHP to finish downloading, and when it downloads, we're going to go ahead and extract that into our program file. No, we're not going to do a program files, my bad. And you're going to want to make sure that you're on a computer, and you're going to want to make sure that you have only your first name, or you don't want your first and last name. You don't want anything separated by a space, because then you're going to run into issues with what's coming up here in a little bit. So I happen to be perfectly fine because only my first name is there. And then you can see all my stuff here. So I'm going to make a folder here just called PHP right in the C directory, because this here has spaces in the file path, and that could cause an issue. So I'm going to go ahead and name this PHP, and we'll be ready to go here momentarily. So PHP has been finished downloading, and I'm going to go ahead and just Control A and drag these into the PHP folder. So we're going to wait a couple minutes for that to finish, or a couple seconds depending on your computer. Alright, so PHP has been successfully installed now. So now what we need to do is we need to edit our environmental variables. So by doing this, we just go to our start menu, type in environment, and wait a couple seconds, and it should pop up. There you go. Edit environmental variables for your account. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new one here if you don't already have the word path. If you have the word path, you don't need to do this. So we're going to add path, and then I'm going to come right back over to this window, select the search box or the file path box, copy that content, go back to environmental variables, and just paste that in. And if you already have something in here, you just want to add a trailing colon to the front. Okay, and now we're ready to go there. Alright, so now that we have PHP extracted into our file, into our PHP folder here, I'm going to go ahead and just try one command here using git. And what I'm going to do is just see if that PHP command will run. And we may have an error that looks similar to this. And the solution to this problem is just to download Visual C++ redistributable for Visual Studio 2012 Update 4. So I'll go ahead and put this link in the description, but essentially this is the link that we're looking for, and we can go ahead and press download. So I'm just going to download the one I want, and I think I really want to download the 86 version because that's the version of that I installed of the PHP version, so my bad. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and install that now. I agree. Install. I know. Okay, so let's go ahead and press OK. And let's see if PHP does something this time. And it should.